Back to the NBA now. The Timberwolves are trading three-time All-Star forward Julius Randle and tonight's number 28 overall pick to the Nets in a three-team deal with the Bulls that will send Nick Claxton to Chicago. The move opens up additional financial flexibility for Minnesota, which plans to use that space to sign guard Ayo Dosunmu to a reported 5-year, $112 million deal. But this Randle trade, it feels like it might have a ripple effect, Vinny. Do you think this is good or bad for Anthony Edwards?
Let's see. That's all I got to say. Let's see. If I'm Anthony Edwards, I'm looking at that ownership, I'm looking at that front office, and I'm saying, you have watched Karl Anthony Towns go and become a champion. You just traded Julius Randle for cap space. So in essence, you traded Karl Anthony Towns for 2 second-round picks in cap space, or a trade exception, a $33 million trade exception. What you gonna do? They got $33 million so they can fill somebody in that spot. They had the mid-level exception at $15 million. You cannot keep expecting Anthony Edwards to drag these teams too deep in the playoffs when the West is getting better at the top. Maybe they're not getting better in the middle, Perk, but they're getting better at the top. OKC isn't going anywhere. San Antonio is not going anywhere. Who knows what happens with Houston, with LA, with Denver, with some of these other teams. But you cannot send Anthony Edwards into the playoffs, into a gunfight with butter knives. And that's essentially what it is. I know it's a show of faith with Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels, but you need to bring in another bona fide player that can help Anthony Edwards right now.
Anthony Edwards is happy. He's happy. He really is. He's happy right now. And I'm not even being funny. One, Julius Randle just wasn't a fit. And I love Julius Randle. I love his family, but, I'm here to speak facts over feelings. We could tell from post-game comments after the playoffs that, his attitude had become somewhat of a problem in his mood swings in that locker room. Anthony Edwards has belief in Ayo. Anthony Edwards has belief in Jaden McDaniels. Anthony Edwards has belief in Nas Reed. And to be honest with you, I'm not mad at the Minnesota Timberwolves because finally Nas Reed gets his opportunity to be a starter in this league, which we all believe he deserves to be a starter in this league. It's been back-to-back years that he's either won Sixth Man of the Year, if I'm not mistaken, or come up winning it. And when you think about Jaden McDaniels, he's a young player that every single season he continues to get better on the offensive end. I think I know they're going to start the season. They're going to add some pieces. It's not going to be a big splash. They're going to start the season, see how it go, and then at the trade deadline, if they got to make a move and possibly go get a Kyrie Irving to monitoring that situation in Dallas, then they're going to do it. But Anthony Edwards is all good in Minnesota right now.
Stephen A.
I don't know how he can be all good. I'm not saying this particular move is something he should have a problem with. But I think the Minnesota Timberwolves better be careful. Because if they don't make the right moves, Anthony Edwards may ask out of there. I think that's something that they have to be mindful of because, if you're him, you certainly are, it's hurting watching others, get the shine that your talent deserves because the brother's all world, make no mistake, and he is box office. So it is a problem that Minnesota's going to have to fix. Now, and the guy, Julius Randle, that they let go, Julius Randle really has to take this opportunity to look in the mirror. He's averaged at least 20 points a game over 5 of the last 6 seasons. Okay, he's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player. He is not a scrub and had a damn good, a really good regular season, actually averaging 25 and 5. Not too many players was doing that. We get that part, but then folded like a cheap 10 against the San Antonio Spurs. We all know that, and I'm with you, Big Perk. Him, his family, he's class personified, a really good guy, the whole bit. But this is the second time a cap move has precipitated his departure, but that wasn't the only thing. Brunson and those boys didn't think they could win with Julius Randle because Julius Randle, one could argue, has that Jaylen Brown syndrome of wanting to be that number one guy. It's just that Jaylen Brown deserves it, and Julius Randle may not. But nevertheless, that's what Julius Randle aspires. He leaves from New York. He goes to Minnesota. He knew that wasn't an option. He gets that, but in the same breath, that body language that you're talking about, the attitude, you know, he wore it on his sleeve and it was hard to hide, and players noticed that. And so Minnesota was not hesitant to move beyond him, just like the Knicks were not hesitant to move beyond him. He's really going to have to look in the mirror and think about what kind of player he's willing to accept himself as, you know, when he sees himself. In the end, though, it comes down to Minnesota in this regard. You've got a superstar in Anthony Edwards. He is a superstar, make no mistake about it. And he can't be happy like with what the organization is doing. No, he's not upset. You understand, you know, you want to keep him, and Jaden Daniels, he wants to keep him. Got that part. But what you gonna do to upgrade? What you gonna do to show Anthony Edwards that you can compete with San Antonio, and you can compete with Oklahoma City? What are you going to do in that regard? That is a question he is looking for the organization to answer. And if they don't answer it sooner than later, with a piece or two here that here or there that they get, don't be surprised if he sits up there and says, "Yo, man, it's time for me to get up out of here."
But that's say, you know, listen, I'm an analyst, but that don't mean I don't have my ears to the streets and I don't have my sources. I don't just do reporting, but I'm coming on here as a reporter and I'm telling you that Anthony Edwards is happy. I'm telling you right now, he has the belief in Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid and Ayo. This is how he wants to rock. They have a certain type of brotherhood over there, and he believes that those guys are going to get better. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to change come trade deadline, but I'm telling you, I had to make calls this morning. I don't usually do that, Shay. I speak from off the top of the dome. But I had to do my research and make some calls. The Ant-Man is cool and happy rolling with the guys he have in the locker room.
Well, allow me to speak from the other side of the aisle, Vinny, in terms of what we do. We weren't in the locker room, you know, like Perk was playing. But you know what? We were in those locker rooms, and we still are connected to those locker rooms with people who do play and coach and preside over on an executive level. And Perk, you've been around long enough to know that you being happy in June don't mean a damn thing from September, October,
I just said
November.
that.
You know that. It doesn't mean a damn thing. And so what the hell? I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not talking about next week. The season begins in October. And I'm telling you right now, you understand, this off season, if the Minnesota Timberwolves, if their answer to San Antonio and OKC, that's why Vinny's sitting there looking at you and laughing, because if their answer is the Sumu and McDaniels and Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, and nothing else happens, okay? I'm telling you right now, all I'm gonna do is pull up the clip. I'm telling you, Ant-Man is happy. He's happy. And I'm gonna say, Perk, you wanna revisit this? I'm talking October, November, December, January.